Hey, it's Lauren with Digital Nomad Lifestyle. I'm coming in today with a 4-question series with Cody.
Yes.
I don't know why. What name did I say originally?
Dylan.
Dylan.
You said
How
Dylan.
did I fuck up Dylan, Cody? So, for everybody who hasn't watched before, this is a 4-question series for existing and aspiring digital nomads. Kind of get an idea of some of the digital nomads that are out there, some stories about how they got to where they are, what they love, and hopefully they'll give us some tips to use in the meantime. So starting off, Cody, you want to give us a little bit of an introduction, where you're from, kind of what you do, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I am originally from Canada, and how I started the digital nomadic lifestyle was after the pandemic, I decided to start traveling full time, just start pursuing what I was passionate about.
Sure.
And in that, I wanted to keep agency over my own time, so I decided to start my own business. And what that ended up being was I was really passionate about helping people transition into that lifestyle, because I understand that a lot of people struggle with it, and as did I.
Yeah, for sure.
So currently, what I do for work is I'm a travel and mindset coach. So essentially, what that looks like is I help remote workers and specifically entrepreneurs who are living the stationary lifestyle shift into a full nomadic lifestyle.
Okay.
So just going into the mindset, productivity, and lifestyle side of becoming a full-time nomad.
For sure. For sure. That's actually not too different from a number of the folks who are likely listening to this. That's a very big segment of my audience as well. So how did you get into that specific area of the lifestyle coaching? Is that, like, if you were to put a term on it? I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit hard to put a term on it because honestly, nobody has ever really done exactly what I'm doing. So I kind of just started labeling things. You can really put it as lifestyle coaching, primarily because yes, I'm working with somebody's business and their life, but I'm not focused on their business. I'm focused on their life and how that they can optimize their life to do something that they want.
For sure.
And originally how I started was helping people build a business so they could travel. And even though that I was good at it, I wasn't passionate about it. So I decided to help people who are already working remotely, which because of COVID, a lot of people are working remotely. Sure. But a lot of them want to start traveling, but they don't know how. Yeah. They don't know that it's possible. Yeah. Or they're too afraid to even do it. I think really the fear, that's the one that really, those first two, I think it's all just fear. The fear. Yeah. In my opinion anyway. So and I was there again. Yeah. So I essentially help them transition into that lifestyle and take in the variables of still being productive while you're traveling abroad and dealing with the mindset things of like dealing with loneliness, how to network, and all of those other aspects that people don't really talk about. For sure. Yeah, that's a big one. And like Cody just walked up to me and a coworker and was just like, hey man, we just started talking. And that's the key. Like, it's difficult for me to do. I was actually just talking about this to my therapist about like anxiety, like social anxiety while traveling. It's a big thing, so I totally get it. Everybody experiences it. So number 3, where is your favorite place to work from, remote? If you had to pick one place in the world. One place in the world? I mean, I haven't been to a lot of different countries, but somewhere's close to nature. And I really resonate with tropical environments, even though that I'm from Canada, and sometimes I'm like, I wish that it could just be really cold right now. But generally tropical places or anywhere where there's a lot of nature. I like being able to be still connected to the internet, but also be able to go outside and there's nature everywhere. For sure. Yeah. So basically anywhere, as long as this is kind of hypocritical because we're in Mexico City, like literally the largest country in the Western Hemisphere. But generally I like spending somewhere where it's filled with nature. For sure. Do you have any places in specific, the kind of tropical, lots of nature, good Wi-Fi? To be honest, I've been to a few places. I really liked Puerto Vallarta. That was a nice place where there was a decent amount of nature. The reason why that I'm in Mexico City right now is not because of Mexico City. It's actually all of the national parks that surround it. Okay. So there's a lot of nature right when you leave Mexico City, and that's why that we came here, so we can kind of leave. Okay. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, see, I like the big cities. I do love the tropical. I get it. I was from Colorado, which the climate isn't too different from lots of parts of Canada, so I totally get the tropical aspect. So what are 2 tips that you'd give someone who's sitting here, wants to work at a tropical place, with kick-ass nature and good Wi-Fi?
The first thing being, you have to, make sure that it's actually feasible. And what I mean by that is like, make sure that logistically it makes sense. Because I've been places where it looks like a beautiful place, but you don't have the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So you don't have good internet.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other variables. So first off, doing research on seeing like, is this a worthy place for digital nomads? That's like huge.
Yep.
Because you don't want to go there and then next thing you know, you don't have reception.
Yeah.
I mean, like we were in Guadalajara. There's 8 million people there. We were downtown and we didn't get a bar of reception.
Damn.
So definitely doing the research.
Guadalajara's a huge city too.
It is, but nothing. So definitely doing research and planning. And the second aspect is, I would have to say honestly, joining Facebook groups was a big thing for me.
It's a big one, yeah.
And which really ties into the networking aspect of it. And because essentially anywhere you go, you're not going to know very many people. So being able to go on a Facebook group, so let's use Mexico City, Mexico City Digital Nomad group. You're going to meet a lot of people there, and they're going to give you a lot of pointers on what are the best places to go while working. Whether it's in certain co-working places or if there's some places closer to nature. So definitely do a lot of networking prior to going somewhere and doing the research logistically to make sure that it'll be feasible.
Yeah, absolutely. So last question is, what were the 2 biggest fears that you had around digital nomading?
The 2 biggest fears was the mindset I had about different countries of them being unsafe. I grew up in Canada. It's typically a very safe country.
It's a good point, yeah.
And growing up, I was always told that Mexico and other Latin American countries were very dangerous. So it was definitely having to just do it and break through the fear of what I was told, and then eventually realizing that, hey, like literally everybody's the exact same. They're just different. They're just living somewhere else. Yeah. So that was the big breakthrough, was just not listening to anybody else back home. And the second aspect on that note would have to be believing that it's possible. Yeah, is a big part of it, because belief is just huge. And if you don't believe that this kind of lifestyle is possible for you, it's not. Yeah, it's that simple.
For sure. It's at least a prerequisite.
Yeah. So just believing, even if you don't really believe it, fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Just believe it, and then eventually you're going to become confident to actually take that leap of faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to write it out like I am a successful business owner. All this stuff. It's like when I was doing Uber and all this shit. Yeah. So I didn't believe it at the time, but you start off and then you slowly almost fool yourself into believing it, and then you can fool others.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, sweet. So Cody actually has a brand that he mentioned earlier. So where can people find you at, Cody?
Primarily Instagram. Okay. I am growing on TikTok and LinkedIn and other platforms, but typically Instagram, which is Nomadic_Cody with a C. So so you can primarily find there, and TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, most social platforms.
For sure. Yeah. And depending on when you're watching this, when I actually get this up, I will have we'll actually have a podcast live on Cody's platform too. That with me, if anybody wants to hear more of me rambling on.
And that will be on Spotify. The name is Live Beyond Boundaries, and so Lauren is going to be podcast number 2.
Number 2. Look at that. All right. Sweet. Well, I'm sorry you don't have any more interesting friends. All right. Till next.